It's day 6, and what I'm curious, Nick, to ask you today is how. No, we can talk about today's teaching for sure, but like also like we practice each day, and we're living a more simple life. We're eating well. We're training.
Yeah.
How do you feel mentally and physically?
Amazing. I mean, I think ultimately, if you could strip it down to good food, I mean, the food is really, really nice. A sense of community, a really simple practice. You wake up 6 o'clock. I go for a run, or Mark swims. Have a breakfast. We do the yoga study. I do a little bit of work. Have lunch, and we just kind of strip it down to like basics. We're still active. We're still working, but you know what? I think what it is, when you have no distractions, and that's what you're doing, it's absolutely true. Linked to today, your mind settles.
Yeah.
You can feel a sense of mind settling because you're kind of focused. So overall, the experience is a pleasant one, in that kind of immersive feeling, you know.
Yeah. I mean, my day is like I come down here and practice, round about this area that we're sitting at the moment, and the ocean is right behind the camera. So I sit and look out the ocean and watch the sunrise. The sun comes up round about 6:05, and it's amazing, like, to be down here and see your teacher down here too. Like Mohanji's down here doing some, like, connecting to the sun, and we've spoke a lot about the sun over the past 6 days. But I think the big thing for me is my mind feels less cluttered, you know. And I've said that before. Like yoga is like a decluttering of your mind, the normal junk in your mind. But like to be here and living the simpler life and eating well, and I eat a little more than Nick, but I feel
You feel great. You look great.
clearer, you know. Like I feel like, and lighter. I'm a little tired because we're having to really take a lot of information in each day.
Yeah.
But I think when this program finishes, I think there'll be real beneficial effects, you know.
Yeah, and I did like today's discussion about kind of the moral code, or like some aspects of, you know, a moral compass. There's a couple of quotes I could share, which I really,
for
which I
sure.
really
Let's
liked.
do
I
it.
just really like them. There's a word that I'm looking at my notes here. I always forget. Satya, which means telling the truth or being truthful, I think. And but they kept on going about this and said, if you're going to hurt somebody, don't tell the truth. And a couple of quotes here is, he mentioned soft communication, and I wrote down diplomatic truth. And then the quote I really like, there was two, is don't carry cobras in your stomach, which I quite like. And you can imagine this like pent-up snake in your stomach where you want to speak some maybe hurtful comments. And linked to that was the other quote where the hot coal of speech will stay. And I think that's also true, as I'm fairly sure we've all had experiences where we've said something maybe hurtful. So you've said the truth, but in a hurtful fashion. You're trying to hurt somebody, but then 15 years later, or 10 years later, or 5 years later, they said, I remember when you said that.
I know. I think the thing is, the hot coal can sometimes be on the other person, you know.
Yeah.
Like when you say something hurtful, you may not realise, but that person carries that with them for maybe a long, long time. I think the other thing I've heard Mohanji say about truth before is, you know, if you look at the overall purpose of yoga, to give you a steadier mind, he says there's only one truth, you know. Like if you tell the truth, you've told the truth. Whereas if you tell a lie, you could have told 1,000 other lies, you know, and your mind will ruminate on, like, should I have told that lie or this lie. Whereas if you tell the truth, you tell the truth, you know.
Yeah, it is. It is true. And then also this idea of our mind settling over the time here. Another quote, full of quotes, and the problem is trying to concentrate everything to sharing your thing. A wandering mind is a clueless path, I think was the
Yeah, well, he said what he quoted Ramana Maharshi, whose ashram we're going to see on Thursday. He said, what's the reason for people's unhappiness? And he says it's because they're wandering, they have wandering minds and they're on a clueless path. You know, so We want our minds to be less wandered and our path to be steady. And you know, yoga, like Nick was saying about the morals, it's not really morals so much, it's more like a path that gives us a steady mind, you know, and that's the whole purpose of the practice, to give you a path that gives you a steady mind, you know. So
Yeah, it gives you kind of a code, but also the sense of that wandering mind means you've got too many paths, too many choices, and the one thing I would say is the more you practice, final quote, you can start trusting your own judgment and trusting your own practice more. And I think that's a really, really important point. You might find some people to guide you, but he was very encouraging to say you need to trust your own practice when you begin to grow in yoga. And I think that was a very subtle, important
yeah,
point,
I think it's really important, you know, especially when there's a lot of confusion in the yoga world, let's say.
Gurus.
Yeah, that's a very diplomatic truth.
Very diplomatic truth.
So, okay, so that's us,
We're
guys.
finished.
Day 6. We've had a great day.
Take care.
We're getting
everybody.
less and less, burdened as the days go on,
Yeah.
so it's very nice. Thank you, guys.
Take care.
Take it
Bye
easy.
bye.